If you ever see it advertised at that price, snap it up. Colin All Cruisers, my name is Colin, and in today's video we are talking about Royal Caribbean's Taste of Royal. What exactly is Taste of Royal? Well, if you're not already familiar with that, it is a sea day lunch offering. It's a specially curated menu that showcases 4 different specialty restaurants from the Royal Caribbean fleet. So stay tuned, we're going to take a look at the menu, what was on offer, and what my thoughts on that were. So as I mentioned, it is only offered on sea days, it's at a set time, and it is a set menu. It's actually a dining experience. On my cruise, the dining experience was located in Chopped Grille. Now, that's not always going to be the case. I do believe on some of the Oasis class or some of the newer ships that Wonderland would be the dining venue of choice. So definitely double check the letter that you do get the day before. That will make sure that you know exactly which restaurant to go to and at what time your lunch will be served. After being greeted by my host, I was seated at my table. Our host, Stephen, then began our culinary experience. Beginning with a St. Petersburg Spritzer from the Hooked Seafood restaurant. This is really a delicious palate cleanser. It's refreshing, it's crisp, it's tasty. I definitely recommend that you don't go drinking this one all in one go. You're going to want to save this because in between courses it was really nice just to take a little sip of that. Like I say, cleanse that palate and get me ready for my next course. The Spritzer itself was a Saint Germain elderflower liqueur, Aperol, fresh lemon juice, and it was topped with some Prosecco. As you can tell by these ingredients, very refreshing. As they served this Spritzer, our host Stephen explained a little bit to us about the Hooked restaurant. So Hooked is a newer restaurant to Royal Caribbean. It's their signature seafood restaurant and is not yet available on all ships. So it was available on the ship that I was on, so if I had wanted to make an additional reservation there for lunch or dinner, based on that cocktail, I certainly could. And of course, if it's on a ship that doesn't feature Hooked, then hopefully that does whet your appetite for you to want to go and try out this seafood restaurant on another ship. So the next item on the menu is the Citrus Seas Tuna Tartare from Wonderland. So Wonderland is not a venue that was available on my ship, so it was really nice for me to get a chance to try the tuna tartare, especially because that is actually one of my favourite appetizers. Love a good tuna tartare, and a good one this is. Super delicious. So the tuna tartare is described as fresh spicy tuna, wasabi, tobiko, yuzu mayonnaise with phyllo parmesan crackers. So there was a little kick to this one. It's not overly spicy despite all the horseradish and yuzu and spicy tuna. It wasn't too spicy. It definitely leaves a little tingle on your tongue, but you know what, as soon as you're finished eating, as I mentioned, the Spritzer for your palate cleanser, all that spice that was sitting on the tongue wipes away and gets you ready for that next course. The Parmesan crackers were super flaky, super cheesy, and were the perfect little accompaniment. I really loved this course, and definitely the next time I'm sailing a ship that has Wonderland as a restaurant on board, I would really be excited to try this one. Our second course was a mascarpone cheese risotto with crab meat. This one was from Giovanni's kitchen. Now, there is no Giovanni's on board the ship I was on. Our host did explain to us that Giovanni's is on some ships and Jamie's is on other ships. So these are the 2 Italian restaurants that are on board the various different ships. So the choice of restaurant that's on board the ship is actually dependent on the market that ship was originally intended for. Some markets they launch with the Jamie's kitchen and others are Giovanni's kitchen. Personally, I have tried Jamie's kitchen, but I've not yet tried Giovanni's kitchen, so it was really exciting to get to try something off of their menu, because there will be a Giovanni's kitchen on my next sailing in October. I have to say the risotto was cooked perfectly. Risotto rice, as we all know, is notoriously difficult to make. The fact that they are making this on board just for the Taste of Royal, because there is no Giovanni's kitchen, so the chefs are, only really producing this once or twice a week, as opposed to on a ship with Giovanni's where they're probably producing this on a daily basis several times a day. So they cooked it absolutely perfectly. It was loaded with crab meat, way more than I expected, and it did have peas throughout it as well. And one thing I'm always cautious of when it comes to peas is, are they going to be overcooked or not? These were perfect. They had a bite to them. They were a little solid still, so that's cooked perfectly for me. You could tell they were added towards the end so that they didn't go soft and soggy. Again, another fantastic dish. The portion size, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of small, but that's fine. This is kind of a tasting menu. Actually, this is deceptively filling. The cheese, the risotto rice, the crab meat is really, really quite a filling combination. So, I was already starting to feel 2 courses in, like, wow, okay, this is a lot of food. That leads me into our third course, our main course, which was a filet mignon with spicy shrimp, courtesy of Chops Grille. Now, our host did tell us that Chops Grille is the one restaurant that you will find on every single Royal Caribbean ship. So I have dined at Chops before. The filet mignon was cooked well. The broccoli that was served with it was crisp. It had a bite to it, so it wasn't overdone. And the mash is like a whipped mash. You do get your choice of sauces. There was a red wine sauce, a peppercorn sauce, and a hollandaise sauce. I opted for some peppercorn. I will say the shrimp were super delicious. They were succulent, juicy. They were sweet shrimp. Very, very nice. So it was a lovely accompaniment to the turf to have a surf with it, of course. And I have to say again, portion size was huge. I was expecting a little small filet mignon, not the size that they did serve. So very big portions. By this point, I'm really starting to get full, and I still have a dessert to go. So talking of dessert, fried cheesecake. I've never had fried cheesecake before. I didn't know what to expect. Our host did explain to us that this comes courtesy of 150 Central Park. Now, this is exclusive to Oasis class ships, so not something that's usually featured on the Navigator of the Seas that I was on at the time. When I saw them preparing the plates to bring out, I noticed the Roll and Rosa 3. I assumed that they were going to be little portions, one little fried cheesecake. It comes with a Nutella creme and caramel popcorn. So I thought we'd get one little plate each, and to my surprise, no, the row of 3 was for one person. This was too much. I don't think anybody in the group of, I think there's about 25 of us at this experience, I don't think anyone finished their plate. So definitely a large portion size. Again, so to summarize the overall meal, we got a 4-course meal with a drink included. It also included a host who guided us through the entire experience, explaining about the different menu items, which restaurants they're from, what those restaurants were inspired by, and which ships typically feature those restaurants. So that was really nice to get a little bit of history about the company as well, and understand a little bit about the menu that's been curated for us. Stephen, our host, was absolutely fantastic, so hats off to you, Stephen. So let's talk about the price. Now, the price does vary. As you probably know, Royal Caribbean do use dynamic pricing, which means the cost of this does depend on several factors. It depends on your peak season, off-peak season, which type of itinerary, the type of ship, are they expecting the ship to be at capacity or not. I got it for a steal. It was $25, but because I pre-booked it, I got it, I think, for $23.50. On the sailing I have for October, I did just recently check the price for that one, and it's a little more. I think it was about $35 or $37. I will say though that for the amount of food that was given, even at the higher end of that, I think it's good value for money for what is excellent quality cuisine. The fact that again you do get a host that guides you through the menu as well makes it a dining experience rather than just a fixed menu. The fact that I did get it for under $25 though was an absolute steal. If you ever see it advertised at that price, snap it up. It's well worth it. It's tasty food. And if you're a foodie, you cannot go wrong with that menu. So would I do it again? Absolutely. It's probably not something I would want to do every single cruise because it is limited to the sea days, and the sea day is the day that I like to have the most flexibility. I like to kind of do things at my own pace and my own leisure, but it is definitely something that I will be trying again, hopefully on a cruise with maybe a couple of different sea days on it. I can try and snap it up then. But yeah, I highly recommend this one if you're a foodie. Of course, if you're not a seafood fan or a steak fan, this might not be the menu for you, and that's fine. I do want to also mention there's an opportunity for a wine pairing. $19.99 gives you 3 glasses of wine and a glass of port, 1 drink for every course. I personally did not take that on this occasion, but I did see some other people taking this, and it looked like their glasses were being kept pretty full. So, you know, that may vary from ship to ship, but even at $20 for 4 drinks, you know, paired with your meal, I think is also excellent value for money. So that's it for Taste of Royal. Have you tried Taste of Royal? I'm really curious if you have, what your thoughts on it were. What kind of price point did you pay for it? Do you think it's value for money? Did you enjoy the food? If you haven't tried it and you want to know a little bit more about it, feel free to ask me some questions. In both cases, just drop those in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, I always love it if you can give me a good thumbs up just to let me know that this is the kind of content that you like to see. And if you are interested in seeing more content like this, then please go ahead and subscribe. We welcome you with open arms to the Colin All Cruisers family, and there's a lot more content to come, so you'll definitely want to go ahead and subscribe. In the meantime, happy cruising!